So chapter 6 is about roots and radicals, and that's also the title of section 6.1. Just as a brief intro here, this symbol, like a check mark with a line over it and an A there, is read square root of A, square root of A. It is a number such that if you take it and multiply it by itself, you get A. Okay, that is to say, if you take the square root of A and whatever that means, and you square it, you get A. Okay, this is called the cube root of A. There's a little 3 on the upper left corner there. It should not be in front of and on the same baseline as A. It should be up in the upper left-hand corner, kind of like an exponent is up on the upper right corner. This is up in the upper left corner. So this is a number, cube root of A is a number such that if you take 3 factors of the cube root of A and multiply them, you get A. And similarly, you can do this with higher integers, right? So that means the cube root of A cubed is A. So you can think of it as the cube and the cube root canceling. If you kind of look at it a little bit, you can cancel off the cube root and the cube. So one kind of undoes the other. You can go up any integer that's greater than 2. You can use up here on the upper left of your check mark kind of looking thing, and we would call that if you call that n, then this whole symbol here is called the nth root of A, right? Nth root of A is a number such that if you take n factors of the nth root of A and multiply them together, you get A. In other words, if you have the nth root of A and you raise it to the nth power, you get A. So nth root and n power cancel. So a simple example, we all know 2 times 2 is 4. So that implies that 2 is the square root of 4. Why? Because if you look up here, right? Okay, so square root of 4 times square root of 4 should be 4, right? Square root of 4 times square root of 4 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4, see? So square root of 4 has to be 2. Also notice that if I had negative 2 times negative 2, you also get 4. So negative 2 is also a square root of 4. So we need to distinguish between them somehow. So we call 2 the principal square root of 4 and use this symbol that we saw before for this square root. So when I write that square root of 4 there with that symbol, I mean the positive square root of 4. Well, it could be positive or 0. Square root of 0 is 0, but everything else it would be positive for positive real numbers. Okay. The other square root of 4 we just write as negative square root of 4, the most obvious thing. So the 2 square roots of 4 are 2 and negative 2, and we would write them square root of 4 and negative square root of 4. When I say it out loud, it sounds funny, but when I say square root of 4 and negative square root of 4, I'm thinking of the square root of 4 as just that symbol there. Sorry if that's confusing. This won't be a problem unless, well, if they ask for the principal square root, remember that they want either 0 or a positive number. They do not want a negative number. That's the only thing about this that you need to remember. So notice for at least this section, we're assuming all of the quantities are real numbers. And so that means that this A for square root, this A here is going to have to be greater than or equal to 0. If A is negative, this turns out to not be a real number. Okay. So if a is greater than or equal to 0, then this quantity is also greater than or equal to 0. So similarly, the nth root of a for n even and a greater than or equal to 0 is the non-negative nth root of a. In other words, it's the principal nth root, we would call it. Although that gets, yeah. And the negative nth root would be written negative nth root of a, not too surprisingly.